Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us um, for the basics of car seats today. I will introduce our presenter here in just a moment, but I did want to remind you that, again, the session is being recorded, and it will be available 1 hour after the session ends, just like all the other ones have been. And don't be afraid to ask questions in the chat. Lori would love to answer any of your questions. And otherwise, I think we can go ahead and get ready to go here. So I'm excited to introduce Lori Moriarty as your speaker this afternoon. Lori works for the Kansas Traffic Safety Resource Office as a traffic safety specialist. And she's been a child passenger safety technician since 2019 and an instructor since 2021. So Lori, take it away.
Hi, everybody. We're going to be discussing the basics of child passenger safety today. Just a little bit about Kansas Traffic Safety Resource Office. We are a program of the Kansas Department of Transportation's Bureau of Traffic Safety Section and DCCCA. DECA's mission is to provide social and community services that improve the safety, health, and well-being of those they serve. The mission of KTSRO is to provide public information and education to protect Kansans from avoidable injury or death on Kansas roadways. Like Jenny said, I am a traffic safety specialist here at KTSRO, and I have been at KTSRO for 4 years. I've been a child passenger safety technician for 2 and a child passenger safety instructor for a year. Why we're here? On average, 4 children are killed and 490 are injured every day in a crash. While not everyone transports children, for those who do, it is very important that they know how to safely transport children in their care. Our goals are for you to be able to discuss the 4 restraint types in child passenger safety, be able to assess a car seat for safety and fit, be able to select an appropriate car seat for an infant or child by age, weight, height, and developmental needs, and identify tools and resources to ensure children are traveling safely. Primary enforcement means that a law enforcement officer can pull you over for that offense, such as the driver who is not wearing their seatbelt or a child who is not buckled up. Kansas Law Seatbelt Use Act, KSA 8-2503, states that occupants of a passenger car 14 years of age but younger than 18 years of age can be cited for this violation as a primary enforcement, and front seat occupants of a passenger car 18 years and older can be cited for a seatbelt violation. The secondary enforcement means there has to be another reason for the officer to pull you over or for them to be able to give you a citation for this, such as the adult passenger is not using their seatbelt in the second or third rows. The Child Passenger Safety Act states children 18 and under must be restrained. We'll get into more details later, but we will learn what is safer for children, which goes above and beyond what the law states. And just so you know, the current fine for violating the Child Passenger Safety Act law is $60. So the law states that all children under age 4 are to be in a federally approved child safety seat. Children ages 4 to 8 must be in a federally approved child safety seat or booster seat unless the child weighs more than 80 pounds or is taller than 4 foot 9 inches. Children 8 years of age but under the age of 14 must be protected by a safety belt. The law applies to all passenger cars designated for carrying 10 passengers or fewer as defined by the KSA 8-1343A. Persons under age 14 are prohibited from riding in any portion of the vehicle not intended for passengers. That includes riding in the back of pickup trucks. So now on to our main focus. And these are the reason why. So why are car seats important? They save lives. Car seats reduce deaths in passenger cars for infants by 71%, ages 1 to 4 by 54%, and ages 4 to 8 by 45%. According to the CDC, properly used car seats literally save lives. So Newton's law explains that when we are in a crash, objects continue to move even though the car has been abruptly stopped. So this outside force can be the windshield, the vehicle's interior, the pavement, the restraint. Which one would you prefer to have it be? I would prefer to have it be the restraint. In your vehicles, anything unsecured will become a projectile in the event of a crash. So it could be first aid kits, Kleenex boxes, strollers, booster seats, anything loose is a projectile. It's recommended that booster seats not being used be secured with a seat belt or put in the trunk of a vehicle or secured somehow so it does not become a flying object. What we tell people as technicians, if you're in a crash, you want to make sure that you're okay with getting hit in the head with it. If it's going to hurt you getting hit in the head with it, you don't want to have it be loose in your vehicle. So there's a bunch of different seats that you can choose. So you might be thinking, which one should I use? So before you choose a seat, the child should fit within the parameters set by the car seat manufacturer of the seat you choose. There are many children who have physical or developmental issues, such as autism, that require extended use of a 5-point harness or even a medical seat. Each vehicle has to have a way to lock a car seat into place. Is it the retractor, the latch plate, or a built-in lock-off on the car seat? You must know the answer to these questions. If there are several people riding in the vehicle, where is each person going to be placed? So I'm constantly asked by caregivers what the best car seat is. In reality, all seats have the same safety regulations, whether it costs $20 or $2,000. There are approximately 10,000 possible combinations of car seats and cars. So the only way to know if your car seat will work for your car is to test it. Many times stores will allow you to give them a driver's license or something to hold while you take the car seat out to your car to test it. There are also many technicians throughout the state that can help you to be sure a car seat will fit in your car correctly. I'd like to mention that we discourage the use of secondhand car seats, excuse me, unless you know the seat's history. For example, your sister had a baby last year and outgrew the carrier. So you'll use it for your new baby. It's important to know the history and age of the seat. If you don't have that information, if it's purchased at a garage sale, car seats typically need to be replaced if they are in a crash because the plastic and the plastic breaks down over time, and they also have expiration dates. So what is the best car seat to use? It's the one that fits your child, the one that fits your vehicle, and the one that you will use correctly every single time. Special needs car seats, they remain the same as with any child. The first option is to use a conventional seat. You want to use a conventional seat if it meets the child's needs because it is less expensive. Appropriate seat selection should be made in collaboration with the child's medical team. And there are special technicians who have had the Safe Travel for All Children training that need to be consulted to make sure that the seat is installed correctly to keep that child safe. So the location of the vehicle is very important. The back seat is the safest location. Frontal airbags will affect placement of where the car seats go. You need to consider the needs of other passengers and the seatbelt and lower anchor systems. So some examples of where to place the child, maybe a school drop-off is from the passenger side, so older children need to be able to sit on that side. So a car seat for a younger child may need to be on the driver's side. While there is no law in Kansas regarding where a child can sit, it is recommended that children remain in the back seat until they are 13 years old. Rear-facing car seats should never be placed in front of an active airbag. And forward-facing children should be backed away from them as far as possible. So if you have to put a child in a car seat in the front seat of your vehicle, you need to make sure that one, it's not a rear-facing seat. If it's a forward-facing seat, you want to scoot the seat back as far away as you can, and if possible, turn that airbag off. NHTSA, or the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, created 4 steps to clarify the transitions between restraint types. Each step should be used as long as possible before moving on to the next step. We'll go over typical age ranges for each restraint type. So you have rear-facing, forward-facing with harness, booster, and seatbelt. So the rear-facing car seats, children should use a rear-facing seat from birth to at least 2 years old. Best practice is to use the rear-facing seat for as long as the child fits within the height or weight guidelines set by the car seat manufacturer. These can be found on the stickers on the sides and back of the seat, and also in the car seat manual. Kansas law simply states that a child needs to be in an appropriate car seat and does not specify what type. It is most important to follow the restrictions of the seat, so it is best to keep a child rear-facing until the upper weight or height restrictions of the seat are reached. In other words, keep rear-facing children as long as possible. So rear-facing only seats are the infant carriers. Those generally up to 30 pounds. A lot of times the child will outgrow the seat before they reach the maximum weight. So the next step would be to move them to a convertible, which is also a rear-facing seat, but that's a higher weight limit. You also have the all-in-ones, which is a rear-facing, and you turn it around as a forward-facing, and then you can use it as a booster. Carrier seats and convertible rear-facing seats are both perfectly acceptable. There are steps to follow to assess if a child properly fits in a rear-facing car seat. So I'd like to point out that harness straps should be at or below the shoulders. The harness should be snug enough that if you pinch the straps near the shoulder blades, you should not be able to grab any material between your fingers. Your fingers should just slip right off the straps. Something of note is that with winter approaching, coats should not be worn under the harness. A child should be strapped in with only their clothes on, and then the coat can be placed backward over their arms and the harness. Also of note is the chest clip placement. It should be at armpit level, because if it is placed too low, it could result in organ damage or a partial ejection from the car seat in the event of a crash. Lastly, rear-facing seats should never be installed in front of an active airbag. So the fit test, you want to make sure that it's appropriate to the height and weight of the child according to the car seat instructions. The infant's back and bottom are flat in the seat. The harness straps are at or slightly below the shoulders. The harness is snug, so the pinch test. Only light layers of clothing, no winter coats. Chest clip is at armpit level. Being placed too low could result in internal damage in a crash. And the crotch strap that fits best. So you want to make sure that the child is not sitting on the crotch strap. The next step is forward-facing seats. Once a child outgrows the weight or height, or their head is within 1 inch of the top of the rear-facing seat, ideally after age 2, the child can move to a forward-facing seat. Forward-facing seats are typically for children ages 2 to 5 or 6, but some have higher weight limits and a child can use the harness for a longer time. So for children who have outgrown their rear-facing seat, according to manufacturer instructions, you would move them into, if you have a convertible or an all-in-one, you would move it from the rear-facing to a forward-facing, and then a combination is strictly forward-facing, and you would take the harness off to make that as a booster. So it's ideal to keep a child in a harness as long as possible because it protects a child better than the seatbelt alone. Race car drivers use harnesses for this reason as well. Harnesses keep individuals safe and in their seat better than a seatbelt alone. The harnesses are installed in all cars. Harnesses are installed in our cars because we have a hard enough time getting adults to wear their seatbelts, let alone a harness while they're driving. So everything about the fit test is the same as the rear-facing fit test, except the harness straps need to be at or above this shoulder. And all of this information is provided in the car seat manual. So the forward-facing seat needs to be appropriate for height and weight of the child according to the car seat instructions. The child's back and bottom are flat in the seat. The harness straps are at or slightly above the shoulders. The harness is snug, so you're doing the pinch test there as well. The chest clip is at armpit level, and the crotch strap that fits best. So again, you want to make sure that they're not sitting on that crotch strap. Step 3 is a booster seat. A child should remain in a forward-facing harness for as long as possible, but once the child outgrows the weight or height restrictions of the harness, it is appropriate to move them to a booster seat. Booster seats are typically for children 5 to 8 or 9, but some boosters have a higher weight limit and can be used for a longer time. Booster seats are designed to make a seatbelt fit a child properly. Excuse me. A seatbelt is made for an adult, so a booster seat literally boosts the child up so that the lap and shoulder belt fit them correctly. And we have 2 different kinds of booster seats. You have a high back booster and a no back booster. So the high back booster, either type is perfectly acceptable to use. The high back booster provides head protection when a head restraint is not in that seating position and may also provide side impact protection. Booster seats must be used, no back booster seats must be used in a seating position that already has a head restraint. The seat belt needs to cross the hips and shoulder, not the stomach or neck and face, and never use a lap belt only with the booster seat. Children should remain in a booster until they can properly fit in the vehicle seat. So the high back provides provides the protection when a head restraint is not available in that seating position, and could possibly provide side impact protection. Backless boosters must be used in a seat position with an existing head restraint. So for a good booster fit, you want to place the lap belt low across the hips and the shoulder belt across the chest. You want to place the booster seat flat on the vehicle seat. You want to make sure that the children's knees bend comfortably over the edge so that they don't slouch to be comfortable. And you need to use the shoulder belt positioners per the manufacturer's instructions. If you've ever worked with the no back boosters, they have a little strap with a little plastic clip on them, and that is the belt positioning part of the booster seat. So don't throw that away if you get one. And that brings us to our last step, the seat belt. Again, Kansas law states that a child needs to be in a car seat or booster until they are 8 years old, 4'9", or 80 pounds. Height is the most important factor, though, because that is when a child is most likely to fit the seatbelt properly. So the seatbelt fit test is a little bit different. To be ready for seatbelt only, the child's back and bottom are flat against the seat. The child's knees are bent over the edge of the seat at 90 degrees, and the feet stay flat on the floor. The seatbelt The seatbelt lap belt fits low and snug across the hips. The shoulder belt runs across mid chest and shoulder, and the child is able to use the properly adjusted vehicle head restraint. And they need to be able to stay in that position for the entire ride. If a driver is belted, children are 95% more likely to be belted. And if the driver is not belted, children are only about 30% likely to be belted. So we need to make sure that the drivers are belted in the vehicle to keep the children safe. On average, 39 children die per year nationally from being left behind in a car. 53 died in 2019, 54 in 2018. You need to make sure that your vehicle is locked, even if you don't have children yourself. Your neighbors might. Kids will be playing outside. They're very interested in cars. They love to play in and around them. If you leave them unlocked, kids can get in, but can't always get out. So we need to make sure that we're locking our vehicles. Even in your own garage, if you have children, make sure that you leave your doors locked so that your child doesn't get trapped in the vehicle. So some of the resources we have, Safe Kids, KTSRO, Parent Central, Kids in Cars. There are experts all over the state who are ready and willing and able to help you with any questions or concerns you have. We're here to teach you how to properly install the car seat, how to make sure that the child is in the car seat correctly. If you have any questions about it, reach out to us at ktsro.org. There's a map on there that shows you all of the technicians throughout the state. We also have stations throughout the state that can provide car seats for families in need, free of charge to them. And I know this was a lot faster than most of you were expecting. Do we have any questions?
I haven't seen, oh, here we go. Just had one. Did you see that one, Lori?
Yes. Okay. So the children's feet needing to be flat on the floor when belted, you need to make sure that their knees are bent over the edge of the seat and their feet touch the floor, because if their knees don't bend naturally over the seat, so like if you're sitting on a tall chair, like at a bar, and you're at a bar height table and your feet just kind of hang, it gets very uncomfortable for you. So if the child's feet aren't flat on the floor, they're going to get very uncomfortable. It's going to hurt. They're going to want to squirm around and do things to make it so that their feet aren't just kind of dangling. So then they would probably slide down, which puts the seatbelt across the soft part of their belly instead of their strong hips, which in a crash, they would either submarine out from under that seatbelt, or they would do internal damage because the seatbelt would be on their stomach. There is a pamphlet you can request from ktsro.org. On our website, you can request supplies. We send it out for free. And it has all the different stages of the car seat usage. So if they're dangling, you need to put them in a booster seat, because that means they're not ready for a seatbelt. And that way they would have the seat, like if they need to get comfortable, they can actually put their feet on the seat itself, because the car seat or the booster seat is usually a little further back. So they can just pull their feet up and be a little more comfortable. So any advice for providers if they see children that are not properly in a car seat or in a wrong seat? So we do have pamphlets. Again, you can request them at ktsro.org. They are free of charge for anybody. if you see somebody that's not properly restrained, you could tell the parents or the caregivers about our services. They can contact us for a fitting, and we can provide seats if they are in need of seats. So the chest clip position doesn't change from rear facing to forward facing. It's the shoulder strap position. The chest clip always goes at armpit level, whether you're forward facing or rear facing. It's the shoulder strap position. It's where the harness goes over top of their shoulders. The rear facing, you want it just below, so that in the event of a crash, it'll stop the child from flying out of the back of the seat. And the same with the forward facing, you want it just above, because that will help them stay in the seat. We do have resources for families with children with disabilities. We have technicians throughout the state who have gone through the Safe Travel for All children, and will work with the family and their medical care team to find the correct seat for the child. We try, if at all possible, to have them in a conventional seat, because it is less expensive for the families. But if needed, we have resources in the state to get seats for families that need them without any cost to them, because the special needs seats are very, very expensive. KTSRO.org has a list of all of our stations that will distribute the car seats. You can reach out. I'll put my email in the chat. You can always reach out to me. You can email me, and I can help you find a technician or a station near where you're needing, so that someone can come. We do check lanes here at our office in Topeka the last Tuesday of every month. Anyone is free to come and see us. So if you have people in this area, throughout the state, we have check lanes on a regular basis that we provide seats at, but we also do the majority of the technicians, you can have set up an appointment with them as well. Yes, and there are check lanes once a month at the Wichita DECA office as well. Thank you, Jenny. Yes, the check lanes are the last Tuesday of every month here in Topeka. They're at our office. We are at 2930 Southwest Wanamaker Drive. And our check lanes are from 4 to 6 p.m. But again, if you have somebody who can't make the check lane, or you know that they need a seat before the end of the month, let us know. We'll make sure. We have 5 technicians in our office alone, so we could make sure that we get somebody available to meet with the family. Our times are from 4 to 6 p.m. And Brittany, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We will do whatever we can to make things easier for you.
Okay, well, I guess if there are not any other questions, we can go ahead and let everyone go, and you'll get about 15 minutes back in your day. But like Lori said, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We're always willing to help out where it's needed. Thanks so much for joining us today. Oh,
Yes, if they need a car seat, and all they have to do is come up to the check lane, we will help them out. The only thing that we require is that they have some form of state aid. It doesn't matter what form it is, if it's for them or the child, they just have to have some form of state aid. Thank you all for coming today.
thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day.